kills me because it's those times, it's those small pivotal moments in people's lives, the scary stuff. It really is. It's the scary stuff, the uncomfortable situations that you're put in.
Yeah.
That changes your life. And it can sometimes be really bad things too. Like, I talked about this that weekend, all the bad things in my life that have happened over the last decade. Even before then, but really, like, the last decade.
Yeah.
Were all super pivotal moments to my success and my growth. And all the bad and things that you would think that, like, oh, you would definitely want to remove that one. I can't.
No.
I can't, because that was, if I look at it objectively, that was the pivotal moment that changed me to who I am becoming now, or who I am and who I'm becoming. And so we have to kind of welcome all of that.
Oh my gosh, yes. So a couple things. I'm really a big fan of Dan Sullivan and Benjamin Hardy right now. These guys have written 3 books together, or Benjamin Hardy's written 3 books about things he's learning with and from Dan Sullivan, who does coaching like you do for entrepreneurs and people trying to get better.
Yeah.
So one of the things he talks about in his book that I thought was an interesting concept is history static, or is history still, does history have transformative power? And the main idea here is that this really awful thing happened to us back in the day.
Yeah.
And it sucked.
Yeah.
And hopefully we learned a lesson from it. But you know what? It can teach us forever.
Yeah.
Now, as we've learned and grow, we can look back at that same tragic event and we can draw another lesson from it.
Mm-hmm.
It never stops losing its capacity to teach us more
100%.
and help us prepare for the future. Second thing I want to take from your debrief, your short debrief of my too long story. One of the exercises that I got from a friend of mine that I love to do is, and any one of your listeners, I heard about this. So a friend of me called me on the phone and said, Kirk, we just did this thing. I think you should do it. He said, we really liked it. So I got a verbal description. I'm about to give you the same verbal description, and you can execute. Basically, you draw a star on a piece of paper, and by each leg of this star, this 5-point star, you draw a line. And I call it the 5-star leader exercise. And what you do now is you write down the name, or have your team write down the name of 5 leaders that have helped shape their life or the way they think about leadership.
Yeah.
And then I qualify it. I ask them not to put down names of immediate family members. We don't want Uncle Bob and Mom on there, right? And not that we want to diminish family, but we want to step outside the family circle for this exercise.
Yeah.
And I ask them not to put down the names of Buddha, Muhammad, Jesus. We don't want to diminish anyone's faith.
Yeah.
But I want it to be people they've met, not a tape they listened to or a book they read.
Yeah.
5 people that have shaped your life. And then we just invite everyone to tell a 3-minute story about that person. And 3 minutes is not a lot of time, so you got to think about it. You have 3 minutes to tell a story about why that person made your 5-star. And we're in groups of 4 or small, intimate teams of 10 or less. You can't do this large room. Small, intimate groups. And if I got a big group, I just put everyone in teams of 4. And so 3 people lean forward, and we ask them, don't think about your 5 stars or what you're going to say. Just think about what Nick is saying. And now we just listen to you. We just drink you in for 3 minutes. And I'll tell you what, anyone who'll do this, I promise you a couple things. One, I promise you the room will be filled with a wonderful, wonderful feeling. Because as soon as people start sharing, gratitude, humility, appreciation, joy fills the room. It fills the room. 3 people become silent witnesses to that pivotal moment you just talked about, these pivotal moments. Okay, now we go around the circle. I model what it looks like. We go around the circle. Everyone shares. Now I've heard Kirk's story, my story, and 3 other stories. I've got 4 stories of star on my star I did not tell.
Yeah.
Now we ask him this question. What, if anything, do all these stories have in common? Wait a minute. Kirk's this guy. These 3 people I just met, right? I don't know who they're talking about. I got my 5 people. What do all these stories have in common? And they almost always have these 3 things in common. You ready? The reason these people made our list is they believed in us more than we believed in us at some point in our life. Second thing, they pushed us in ways we would not have pushed ourselves.
Yeah.
Not so we would fail, but so that we could see that we could. And they weren't surprised that we could. We were the only ones surprised. We hated them for the push, but we loved them later. And you can never shrink back to where you were before. You now know what you can do. And the third thing is, we ask them, why'd they do that? Why'd they do that? And then we ask them, how were they with accountability? Did they hold you accountable? So they believed in us, they pushed us, and they held us accountable. Those three things, 99.9% of the respondents, they share those in common.